Hello everyone, this is Gene and I'm back with another video. So, since it is Catterday Sunday, here's RJ looking as adorable as he always does. He got a bath yesterday morning because it's starting to smell too much like his litter box. I try to bathe them about once a year. You don't have to bathe cats too often because they're always cleaning themselves. So he got a bath yesterday. He wasn't too happy about it. Plus all the fur is flying, I guess because it's summer and even cats shed. Say hi, RJ. Hi, RJ. Okay, go now. And dear God, I'm wearing a black shirt, so I hope it doesn't come up too much on camera. But because now the shirt's just covered in loose cat fur, and RJ's just blinking at me like you did it to yourself. But as you may have noticed, no scarf because I got a haircut yesterday. I have a big meeting tomorrow, and I wanted to look, so fresh and so clean, as the song says. So I decided to get a haircut because I am not exactly good at maintaining uh, long hair. It's weird. It's like I prefer to have long hair personally. I had long hair all throughout my life up until about my mid 20s when I got my first cut because I was transitioning from perming to a more natural style, but now I've sort of embraced the shorter look just because it's just easier to do and easier to maintain. I wish it had been a little bit longer on the sides, but that's on me. I should have said something. But overall, I've been getting some pretty positive responses from people who have seen me with it. And yeah, I think I'm going to be maintaining this. We'll see what happens, right? It's always, you think you're gonna do one thing, but then life happens and life changes things. But this is actually the first haircut, especially this short, that I've gotten in probably about a good 7 to 8 years, I think, or so. Because again, I just don't have the time to like really worry about my hair, so hence why I always saw the scarf, which I still may wear on occasion, but I'm trying to transition away from it, which is another reason why I got the haircut. It's like if I can just literally just take some gel and just do one of when it doesn't get caught, do one of these numbers right, and just style it literally in 5 minutes, probably won't need the scarf as much, but I'll still keep it around just because it's sort of a striking visual. That sort of will. How do I put it? I guess it's one of those things where it's like, especially if you see one of my videos or whatnot, it's like you may not remember my name, but you'll remember that I'm the grumpy brown lady with the blue scarf on her head most of the time. But anyway, enough about my hair drama. It's not what you're here for. Um, so I hope everybody. Whew, all this fur is flying. I hope everybody is well, and I just wanted to just give my brief thoughts on this tweet that's here from Memology 101. So while I have not commented too much on it on video, I have been following the Hellfire Saga, if you want to call it that, online. It's a new X-Men story, a new X-Men event, where basically the X-Men go to a party, which surprisingly enough doesn't seem to feature the Hellfire Club. I haven't seen any mentions. Maybe I'm just missing something, but I haven't heard or seen any mentions about characters like, say, Sebastian Stan. The only Hellfire Club member that's regularly mentioned and featured, it seems, is Emma Frost because people most of the time associate her with the X Men. These days, it's been a very long time since she's been a member of the Hellfire Club. It's like when people generally these days refer to Rogue as a hero because she's been with the X Men for so long. People forget that she was originally a villainess, raised by villainesses in Mystique and Destiny, and working for the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Right? It's just sort of those things that get lost in history as a character becomes associated with a certain group or appearance or whatnot, right? If everybody knows you as a good guy, right, they may be shocked if they look back at the origins decades ago and see, oh, you were actually a villain at one point, when it's not something that's really talked about in modern depictions or modern discourse. But anyhow, as Memology says here, this X-Men number 21 really is the epitome of Marvel staff, let's say, sucking themselves off, right? While inserting themselves in the comic, inserting a plethora of celebrities, inserting a plethora of celebrities as well, including Kevin Feige, which they indeed have done here. Their literal advertising for this, if you follow Wes at Thinking Critical, you'll be aware of this. Their advertising for this hasn't been on the superheroes or superheroics or, big climactic battles or anything. It's literally been more or less a Hollywood event, like, the Grammys or the Emmys, stuff like that, right? Those Hollywood um, red carpet events in comic form. And some of the people there happen to be mutants that you've heard of, like Jean Grey and Cyclops and Storm and whatnot. So let's take a look at some of the images here, right? So let's see if this thing loads. Okay, come on, come on. Here we go. So I don't know, who the heck this lady is here, but here we have it. I think that's Patton Oswalt. The very salty comedian, celebrity who, like every other celebrity, hates Trump or hates anybody who doesn't hate Trump or is a Trump supporter with the heat of 1,000 suns and all that type of stuff. So there's Patton Oswalt, because that's why comic fans read comics, for Patton Oswalt. You can see Jean Grey's lower body, her upper body, and then her lower body in this frame here. I don't know who the other person is. That might be Storm, behind the lady in the blue dress, given the shape of the body and the skin tone in the outfit. And then we have a bunch of people here. We see Storm. Jean Grey, and a very 80s take on Rogue in the front. And I'll have to admit, I at least in these images, I haven't seen the whole book, but at least in these images that Memology posted, I do think the art is good. It's certainly better than what Marvel or just mainstream comics in general has been offering recently. I actually do like the way, in particular, Storm is drawn here, like the big hair and the big thunderbolt. That is visually eye-catching, so I like that. So I do think that they look good, but you have a guy in the back in what looks like a Wu-Tang Clan hoodie. That might be Redman. Rap is not my thing, but I know that Wu-Tang is sort of like they're kind of into this, like, comics, kung fu, geek type of stuff. Okay. The lady in the background here in the dress, that's supposed to be Laura Kinney, I believe. That's supposed to be X-23. We see Captain America's shield. This big dude here with the beard, that's supposed to be Colossus. Colossus. Peter Rasputin. I had no idea that facial hair could grow on his steel skin, but whatever. The dude in the hoodie here, talking to possibly Namor, if I had to guess by the pointy ear, that's supposed to be Eminem. And then we got some more people here. We got Kitty Pryde in that silly pirate outfit of hers. And it looks like the older man in the back here is George R. Martin. I don't know who the black dude that Colossus is talking to is. I have no idea who that is. I don't recognize him. Then we have Thing in the background and a bunch of other stuff, right? But this is who Marvel's catering to, right? This is who they think is going to draw a reader in to buy their comics. Look, we have George R. R. Martin in the background of a group scene. We have Eminem. We have Redman. It's like, no. I understand if you incorporate one or two celebrities, especially if those celebrities are known to be big comic fans. Like a few years ago, Marvel allowed pro wrestler CM Punk to write an issue of Shang-Chi because they were trying to do a solo series run of Shang-Chi, which went absolutely nowhere. But they allowed him to write an issue, which I read. It was very goofy and wasn't well written. CM Punk should stick to wrestling. But I understood why they did it. It's one issue. CM Punk is well known to be a comic fan. I understand that, right? This is different. This is as memology said, basically Marvel and Hollywood openly circle jerking each other, right? I hate to be crude, but that's the truth. It's an open circle jerk for everybody to see, and not only see, but they want you to pay money for this. If you want to engage in that type of behavior, Marvel and Hollywood, you may want to start an OnlyFans. I'm just saying, right? And then we have let's see here. This image here of Cyclops. Again, I do think the art for Once in Life is actually pretty good. I don't know who this guy here with the beard is supposed to be. I am totally like lost when it comes to like modern day celebrities. I don't much care. I've never been a big, you know, follower of celebrities unless they were like rock stars or pro wrestlers. Like I've sort of follow and track those people. But outside of that, like your mainstream actors and actresses, I've never really cared. So I don't know who this Jamie person is that, or I guess Cyclops is ordering a drink or something. I don't know who this dude next to him is, right? Or I guess actually Cyclops is probably ordering a round for the entire room, so everyone gets a drink on Cyclops' dime. And then of course, we have Kevin Feige here in the center panel, right, asking the Cyclops, "What's your story?" And Cyclops, "Well, it's complicated, to say the least, Cyclops, to say the least. Jean Grey, Madeline Breyer, Emma Frost. Your family life is crazy. Cable, uh, uh, Jesus, what's her name? The other chick, Rachel Grey. Yeah, your life is certainly complicated. He isn't lying there, right? Going from Xavier's probably best pupil to then becoming a disciple of Magneto. Your long and storied history and rivalry with Wolverine over Jean Grey's affections. Yeah, it's certainly complicated. I'll give you that. Right. So this is what Marvel thinks is going to get people to buy their comics these days, right? And then we have this image here. Let's see if it loads. Uh, right, and then we have, again, I actually do think the art is pretty decent here. It's better than what they usually show, right? But you have X-23 looking by no means like someone who is related to Wolverine in any way or trained by him. She just looks like a cosplayer. And then we have Cyclops, and we have a very 80s Rogue. Though to be fair, if they were truly trying to embrace 80s Rogue, they would have given her the short hair that she used to have back when she was a villainess. Then you have, I don't know who this dude in the red is. Is that Sunfire or Sunspot? One of them. Then we have Jean Grey in the center, and then who the hell is that in the back? I have no idea who that is. with the green hair, and then this dude in the jacket with the pride colors that might be Prodigy, because they only ever bring him up whenever they need LGBTQ rep, where his representation literally begins and ends with "I'm bisexual in a power battle." That's literally all he's about, right? But anyway, here's what kind of bugs me aside from everything about this. I know it's hard to see on the screen, so I'm going to read it. What Jean Grey is saying here is, "Ladies and gentlemen, Humans and mutants, I give you your X-Men. I want to repeat that. Ladies and gentlemen, humans and mutants, I give you your X-Men. In what universe, aside from ours, does Jean Grey say this? Jean Grey is a disciple and student of Charles Xavier, not Magneto. This is a type of phrase I expect out of Magneto's mouth because he was always the mutant supremacist and he was the separatist. He's the one who believes that mutants are literally homo superior, right, and therefore should either rule over humans or live separate from them. Ideally, both, right? That's the world he wanted. The X-Men were always to fight that because they represented Xavier's viewpoint, which was the fact that mutants are humans. They're just humans with a genetic mutation, but that they're still humans and should live in regular society. He always fought for integration and acceptance, whereas Magneto was always about uh, uh, fear and supremacy and separatism. And now you have one of the most iconic women of the X-Men, right? The I guess what ex-wife or current wife? I have no idea what their relationship status is, right? But the at least former lover of Scott Summers, right? Scott and Jean were always Xavier's best students, right? And you have her saying that humans and mutants. You basically have her abandoning what Xavier believed in and embracing Magneto. I know that who is it? Kid Omega used to wear a T-shirt that would say like Magneto was right, but that made sense in his case because he's a punk. He's a British punk, so yes, he's going to wear stuff that's considered abrasive or offensive in some fashion. You were not supposed to embrace that, Marvel. You were not supposed to have the X-Men embrace Magneto's thinking because, as just some guy mentioned in his great video about villains and this one guy online wanting to make Magneto black to speak for the black experience and the black trauma in America, as just some guy pointed out, the whole point of Magneto is that he is wrong. That he became the very thing that once oppressed him. He, the Jewish survivor of Auschwitz, right, of the Holocaust, became a Nazi himself. A Jewish mutant became a Nazi. He became the very thing that oppressed him. And now you have the X-Men mirroring and representing his ideas. Now, am I surprised these days that Marvel does this? No, not surprised at all. Because of the people they have working for them and what they permit to go on and publish. But just because I'm not surprised doesn't mean that I'm not deeply concerned or deeply saddened because these are not the X-Men, right? Xavier used to say, to me, my X-Men. No, these ain't my X-Men. These are Magneto's warriors. This is the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, just with the X-Men. The X-Men have now become the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And Marvel, or at least the people in Marvel, are either too unfamiliar with the work to realize that, or more likely, they just don't care because of diversity. Alright, so there's that. And then we have another one here. There, yeah, that's Eminem and everything. Right, and again, when it comes to the marketing of the Hellfire Gala, right, rumored X-Men Hellfire Gala attendees: Eminem, Conan O'Brien, Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, who I think is the soccer player. She was like, "We deserve equal pay" and all this other stuff. I think that's her. Ira Glass, Pete Alonso, and more. Again, I want to know what comic fan. I want to know what comic fan picks up a comic because of the celebrities who are going to be featured in it. Hell, comics used to be uh, rejected by celebrities. They didn't want to be seen in the comic. It wasn't too often where you would get a celebrity who admitted to being a comic fan, right? Let alone one actually being featured in a comic or one writing a comic. What we're seeing with Marvel, what we're seeing with my modern day mainstream comics in general is how do I describe it? Remember the song? I think it's "Eye of the Tiger," right? It's the "Eye of the Tiger." It's we all know that one, right? From Rocky, right? But there's a line in the song where it says, you trade your passion for glory, right? And what that means, at least my understanding, is that when a fighter wins, he becomes successful, he gets everything that he wants, right? And that success makes him soft, right? It makes him weaker, right? He trades his passion for the glory of success. This is this and many other things, because this is not new. This has been going on for years now. But this, I think, is a great representation of that line. Marvel as a company, even before Stan Lee passed away, because Stan lost power years ago because he was old, right? He couldn't run the company anymore, right? But this is what happens when something that was always made for the geek, for the outsider, for the person who was not accepted in regular society. This is what happens when it goes mainstream, when it becomes embraced by Hollywood. The worst thing for something that is niche, actually, is for it to go mainstream, because yes, you become successful, and then you sell and you give up and you trade all of your creative integrity for stuff like this. You trade your passion, art, storytelling, fans, and all this. You trade it for glory, right? Right. These days, comic books and comic stories and comic companies are not treated as a legitimate art form that tells its own stories, right? And exists on its own merits. It is treated as an IP farm, right? What characters can we try to make big for the movies? Which storylines can we adapt? That's all it is now. It's an IP farm. It's like, it's basically Hollywood is the pimp, right? Hollywood is the pimp, and the comic book companies and their characters and their stories are the prostitutes. And guess who the Johns are? Guess who the paying customers are? Viewers, fans, or at least that's what they want. They are basically prostituting classic characters and classic stories, and they expect you to pay for it, as they completely bastardize it and turn it into something like this. It's no longer about superhero stories or great battles against good and evil, or introspection about the human condition or anything like that. It's just about stuff like this, them pleasuring themselves in public, in your face, which is why I cannot give them money, even for the classic stuff, and I haven't given them money for years, because this is what it's devolved to. If I wanted to watch an award show, I'd watch an award show. I want to read comics. That's what I want. I want to read comics, Marvel. And guess what? This ain't a comic. This is the Emmys or some other Hollywood event in comic form. You have pushed people like me away, and you don't give a damn. So guess what? My money that I could have spent on your comic stays in my pocket and it goes somewhere else because there are much more nourishing things like a sub sandwich that I can be getting for the same money that you want me to spend on this drivel. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think and I'll see you all on the next one. Have a good day and night wherever you are.